would you like to get your brand and an advert for it gently teased into the earphones of 100,000 highly engaged listeners, both within this show and promoting our partnership across Acast's other hit podcasts? Well, you can. We will even get creative and make the ad for you. Contact us through producerpool.co.uk and we will tell you all about the available sponsorship offers.
Today on Fantasy 5, it's Meryl Streep versus Tom Hanks. This is the podcast where we, the Noise Next Door, create five-a-side football teams using characters from fiction, history, and real life. But today, it's not just the Noise Next Door. We are joined by a very special guest. Miss Lauren Pattison is joining us.
Hello.
Hi, Lauren. Thanks for joining us. We are today going to be pitting you against Matt in a game of fantasy football, the fantasy being the key element here, because it's Meryl Streep versus Tom Hanks. Before we get into the teams, I should introduce myself. I am Tom. I'm today's host, and I'm joined by Sam, who is my pundit with me today. Sam, what's up?
I am brilliant as a pundit. And it's lucky that, because it is our job to provide criticism and insight into the manager's lineups, and later we will be in charge, Tom and I, of the highlights from today's fixture.
Indeed. Well, we briefly heard from Lauren there, but let's say hello properly. Lauren, welcome to the show. How are you feeling about being on Fantasy 5?
I feel very confident. In Meryl we trust.
What's your football knowledge like?
Limited.
That is about 7 steps up from Matt, so that's fine.
I've been beaten already.
Yeah, Matt, I would describe Matt's football knowledge as way lower than limited. A sort of...
Yeah.
If anything, it's getting a little worse over each episode because it's getting too confusing. You guys keep on using new terms, and so I'm actually remembering
red cards? That was the one that tripped you up a few weeks back.
Oh, did that?
Yeah. There's no sin bin.
There's no sin bin. All these new rules Matt's learning. But look, it's not important. What is important is your knowledge of Meryl Streep.
Yes.
You're up against Matt. Matt, your team today?
Yeah, Tom Hanks and the characters thereof. Very exciting times. Hanks for having me, and let's look forward to a few little woodies.
That's the sort of content I came for. Well, we've met the managers, as usual. Just a quick spoiler warning here. If you've not seen every film that Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep have been in, there might be minor or major spoilers at this point. I literally don't know. But just, if you hear a film that you don't know mentioned and you think I might watch that one day, and you're the sort of person that's offended by spoilers, sort yourself out. We can't hold your hand the whole way through this thing. You have been warned. Also, please, if you enjoy the show, head to iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, give us a follow and a review. 5 stars would be great. We'd accept a 4. We've only had 5 so far. Don't want to tempt fate. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear those Fantasy Fives.
Did you see the dog come in just to give me my own hat? It was very... I was like, thank you. Thank you, Ralph.
I think you need this. I think you need this. In case you get cold. We are going to start off with Lauren Pattison. You are Team Meryl Streep. Tell us, how was the process and what players have you picked?
So, I picked the Meryl Streep films I can remember, which seemed a good... a good starting point. And then I kept getting confused, thinking, oh, that's a good Meryl Streep film. And then I realised it was Helen Mirren, also iconic, but not Meryl Streep. So I think that might be my subs bench, is just Helen Mirren.
Yeah. Because if Streep wasn't available, they could have brought in Helen Mirren.
Exactly. Yeah. But there are so many iconic Meryls. She is going to be an unstoppable football team.
I can't wait. So, who's your first pick? Who's your star player?
Okay, so I don't understand the jobs of the players.
Yeah,
so
jobs,
I've got two set ones, and then the rest I'm just gonna assume I know where they go on the pitch.
Right.
So the one that I know is the captain, the boss.
Yeah.
The Meryl in charge.
Yes.
And that is Meryl as Miranda Priestley in The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah. Sure.
Like,
iconic.
She has to be the captain, because you would do anything she says straight away. You would not fuck around. Like, she would get stuff done so efficiently, and think how well dressed the entire team would be.
What a kit
those
this
uniforms would be immaculate. What is this?
The boots as well, the shoes. Oh, they're going to have some quality kicks. Oh.
Sorry, the dog is just... Can you leave me alone, please? No? Okay. Just join in. Who's your favourite Meryl Streep player dog?
What's your dog's name?
Dog's called Ralph.
Just getting the verdict from Ralph.
Yep. Oh, he has heard a squeaky toy and he's off.
That'll do it.
But yeah, Miranda Priestley. And as well, she's very, like, cold. Well, we think she's cold. Obviously, the twist is she's actually got a heart all along. It's just hidden in a block of ice. But I think that would mean she'd be very, like, no nonsense. She wouldn't let her emotions get in the way of the game. She would be a very strong leader. I do worry that she might scare the players too much. Like, nobody wants a manager who they're, like, absolutely terrified of, but also going to bring a bit of order to the team. I'm on board.
Yeah, she certainly inspires loyalty on the pitch. And like you said, she's tough. So you're thinking of her sort of like a defensive sort of player or an attacking sort of player? We can help you through the positions as we go. I
think she'd be the player who, like, sort of sets everybody up. So she, like, you know what I mean? She's like sort of engineers it all, but then she puts the goal in at the last minute and takes all the credit for it, like that one.
Like a captain midfielder is what I'm hearing here, who takes the penalties.
Midfield Meryl, like. That is who, yeah. You know, when you watch them, the ones who, this is from a very limited, I watched a Man U game to impress a boy the other day, and I think I'll just stay single. Did not understand. But there was like this one guy who got like the goal in, and then the way he went on, I was like, you'd think that you like did all of that, but you literally just tapped it in at the last minute, and all the other boys, they did all the graft.
I feel like she wouldn't necessarily take all the glory. Like, she would take all the glory, but she's also done the hard work as well.
Yeah,
she's got that because she's like the editor, right? It's like the editor in chief of what's the magazine?
Yeah, what's it called again? Made Up Vogue, isn't it? It's basically
Runway.
Vogue. Runway, that's it.
Runway.
I watched it the other week as well. I was like, ooh, I know this football question.
Is Runway a real magazine or is it a fictional one? Is it basically
it's based
Vogue,
on Vogue, isn't it? Yeah.
Right, okay.
I do worry about her alienating other people, but you need that strong character. If you watched Man United the other day, you might have seen the commentary. You might have seen Roy Keane. She feels, Roy Keane. She feels very much like this powerhouse midfielder who's not going to take any crap. And if you're a bit weak next to her, that's tough luck, mate. You're off the team.
Yeah. I bet she'd have a good tackle on her, but like a dirty tackle.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I do quite like watching them videos on YouTube of like when the players get proper like tackled, and then the guy who did it will be like, "Want me? Want me?" And I'm like, "There's literally 9 cameras. We saw it was you. We saw it was you from every angle and in slow motion."
So I'm really picturing the football boots being high-heeled football boots, but like all the spikes in the shoes, the studs, they're all high heel height.
Yeah, and then
so
that's
a bad
going to give her an
tackle.
advantage because she's going to have a little bit of elevation on the pitch.
That's true.
I love it, and we know quality is, I mean, Meryl's bag, but this is an Oscar-nominated role. Oh, it's the Oscars next week. I should have definitely said that when we introduced the bloody show. Maybe we'll add that in and cut this out. Who knows? But yeah, so Oscar-nominated characters. So we know she's up for awards. She's going to be. I mean, that's Meryl all over, isn't it? Basically,
we love Meryl. Yeah, she'd have so many medals, and like she would have like a gold room, and that would be for all her like. Do you get gold, silver, and bronze in football? You don't, do you? You don't.
The Olympics.
Right? I'm thinking of the Olympics.
Yeah.
Well, there is football in the Olympics, so if she's, if she's been in the Olympic squad for Meryl Streep football, this is getting convoluted now, but yeah, then she could have gold.
Yeah. Who was it? I think it was one of the Williams sisters. It went viral not long ago when she was showing somebody around her house with all her trophies, and she was like, "We don't keep second place." Like, that would be Meryl. She would just have all of her like winning trophies, and then there would be like a secret little room of shame tucked away, which is like anything below top of the league.
I love it. Right, so Miranda Priestley in the middle of the park. She's your captain. Great first choice. Who we got next?
Okay, goal. That's another position I know.
Yes.
Goalkeeper. You can tell when I was a kid, right? I was on the girls' football team at school, and we used to go we had like 2 girls on the team who I think now are like pro women's footballers. And I used to just go because I was enthusiastic. And whenever we'd go to tournaments, I'd be like, why do I never get to play? And then eventually, after about 6 or 7 games, the poor coach, I'd be like, you're kind of a substitute. And I was like, okay.
Oh.
I was literally just brought because they needed a substitute, like by law or whatever. And I was like, okay, I'll just sit on the bench. That's cool with me.
Oh, wait, you never got on the pitch?
I think I did once, and that was it. But it was a very short-lived year of a football career. So this is why I don't know any positions other than sub, goal, and captain, because I never got allowed on the bloody pitch. But in the goal, I would have Meryl Streep as the mam in Mamma Mia. Is it Donna? I think she's called Donna. Because she can dance, so no goals would get past because she got moves. Like,
So you're imagining her just in a non-stop sort of swirling, dancing state.
yeah, she'd
And
be
that's
like,
how she's
I've
gonna be
been cheated
deflecting the
by
balls.
you since I don't know when. You're not going in. You're not going in. Like that.
Perfect.
Yeah. Because it must get boring just being like stood in goal waiting for shit to happen. So I think she would just have a little dance about and then she would save the goals without even realising. She'd just be doing like a beautiful high kick and everyone would be like, and Donna saves it again. And she's like, oh, I did what? Like, I have to specify though, this is from the first Mamma Mia film because she's dead in the second one. So that's
she?
not a good... Yeah, she dies in the second one.
I haven't seen that one.
Hashtag spoiler them.
There you go. I said there could be spoilers. There it is. For those desperate to see the plot of Mamma Mia 2, ruined.
It makes sense, though. You know why she dies in that one? You know who exec produces that film? It's Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks has killed her off for this match specifically.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
leading to this.
it's all been leading to this moment. But yeah, you can't have a ghost in goal. The ghost is on the subs bench. Like, just in case we get really desperate, we have the ghost of Donna ready to...
Board
ready to
puff
fill
through
in.
it,
Haunting
wouldn't it?
people.
I like that. So you've got regular Donna who starts because she's from Mamma Mia 1, but on the bench you've got Mamma Mia 2 Donna.
Yeah,
Ghost.
surrounded by Helen Mirrens.
Yeah. Excellent. And I mean, her musical ability, is Streep much of a singer? How is she in Mamma Mia? I did see it, but I remember thinking it was all a little...
I feel like nobody can be as bad as singing in Mamma Mia as all of the dads were. Like, they are so bad at it that if I was the daughter of Mamma Mia, I'd be like, I don't want any of you as my dad. You can't hold a note. No, thank you. No, I'm just going to live on my little Greek island with my mum, thank you.
I like that. She's playing in the Greek leagues, just getting tanned and dancing
She
in goal.
would know all the best accommodation to put people up in because she's in the hospitality industry. Like, she's bringing more skills to the team.
Happiness on the road as well is important, isn't it? You know, as a comic, you know that if you've had a good night in a hotel before, you're going to be better the next day. If you're staying in a travel lodge, the show is going to be worse.
And she'd be like, you know how sort of boy footballers have got like their wags and stuff? Like, she's got like 3 potential partners just for one baby. She would have a whole entourage of, what would they be called? Habs, husband and boyfriend.
Husbands and boyfriends.
Yeah.
I like that.
She's a real player. And
she would be the bad
to play
girl.
football, you have to be a player. So
Yes.
Yeah. She's sneaky. Well, she's not sneaky, but she's tactical. She's organised. Who can keep 3 relationships going at once? So, you know, she'd be able to keep her eye on lots of different things happening. Like,
that's actually a very solid argument, that one.
Perfect goalkeeper.
what are her songs in the movie? What?
I don't know when she sings.
So she sings Mamma Mia, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the soundtrack of Mamma Mia right now. She sings in most of them, it seems. Money, 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 Mamma Mia, Chiquita, Dancing Queen, Our Last Summer. And then she has a little break until Voulez-Vous, SOS, Slipping Through My Fingers, The Winner Takes It All, I Do, I Do, I Do, I Do. When all is said and done...
Yeah, for the most part, she's dancing for a 2-hour movie, so a 90-minute match, she'll be fine.
Exactly. Be absolutely nothing for her.
The winner takes it all. It's good. It's a good motto to have as well. We know that second place means nothing to her, one of her teammates. So she's on that same wavelength with Miranda Priestley in the middle of the park as well.
Perfect.
I feel like those two would get on, right?
I think they would. Yeah. They would be, and they would be like the 2 players who everybody else kind of wants to sit with, and they're like the mean girls be like, no, we say when you can sit with us, and they're like, okay, Miranda and Donna. Like, they all want to be Miranda and Donna, but they're not.
They'd also be a bit like oh my God, we look really similar. That's going to happen throughout this game, isn't it? It's like that documentary where the three triplets who didn't know they were triplets all met up accidentally. It's going to be like that, like, oh my God.
See, this is like, because my dog's only little, if we, like, I've got this big red coat that I normally wear for work, and if we walk past anyone else with a red coat, he's like, Mum, is that you? Mum? And that would be like what all the Meryls would be like on the pitch. Is that you? That's me. And then they would just chase their tails for a bit.
The Meryls are chasing their tails now.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
No
right.
questions.
I accept it. So we've got Donna in goal. I love it.
Yeah.
Yep. Feels like a good pick. I like the organised, being able to juggle 3 relationships, also being able to juggle the ball.
Exactly.
Strong picks so far, Lauren. Who else have you got? So now you've just got random. Stick them out there. See what they do.
But I've got thought behind it. So, which position on the pitch would be the one who's very like sneaky and like gets in and does all the tackling, like that one? Doesn't necessarily score goals, but sort of like fucks over all the other players.
Well, that sounds like a defender. That sounds like stopping the other team trying to score, you know, like nicking
I don't know if I'm even allowed to have this Meryl, but this is a Meryl from the stage and not from the screen. She was
any Meryl.
I remember watching a bit of this at uni. I'm sure we did. Or maybe it was A-level. All drama blurs into one when you did it for 7 years. It's just 7 years of zip-zap boying, isn't it? That's all it is. And occasionally watching a bit of Meryl. She was Katerina in Taming of the Shrew. And I think Meryl and Katerina, what a combination, because she's like she's the original Miley Cyrus. She can't be tamed. That's twice I've made that joke on a Noise Next Door themed. I'm sure I did that when I did your show in Brighton. But yeah, she's fiery. She doesn't let anybody tell her what to do. She's strong-minded, and I think she'd be the one who like they keep in a cage until the game, and then they just let her out like a Rottweiler. That would be Katerina Meryl.
I love it. So you like wheel the cage up to the side of the pitch and just sort of like unleash it on the opposition.
Yeah, everyone would see the cage like rattling, and they're like, "Oh no, it's Taming of the Shrew, Meryl. We didn't know she was coming," and she just launches out onto the pitch.
Amazing. And if our listeners aren't familiar with Taming of the Shrew, could you describe Katerina's role in it, just to give them a because I feel like Mamma Mia and The Devil Wears Prada are big films. Taming of the Shrew, fairly niche Shakespeare play. What would you?
She's such a good character, but like if I was to write this play in modern times, I would totally change the ending. So she's this proper like fiery, strong-willed woman, and all the men are like, no, she'll never get married because she's got opinions and we don't like those. I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what they're saying. And then basically they set like this guy, almost like this challenge of taming her. So she's the shrew, and they want to like tame her and make her soft and feminine so she can be like a girl and a proper lady. And that's this whole like what the whole thing about is him trying to like make her what a woman of the time was, I suppose, which was pushover. Oh, no thank you. Oh, dogs come back. What are your opinions on Taming of the Shrew, Ralph? He's just took a piss. That's his opinions of Taming of the Shrew. He's got a puppy mat. He's allowed. He's got a little safety mat down.
Oh, right, that's all right. If people are still wondering a little bit about Taming of the Shrew, the film 10 Things I Hate About You is based on it. So we're talking the Julia Stiles character, basically, in that. The one who is the tamee.
The tamee.
But it kind of, I mean, I don't want to piss on your chips here, but she does get tamed, doesn't she?
Well, like that's what I mean. If I was rewriting it, I would not have her, like, how she is at the start. She's brilliant. She's me. She's an absolute wreck. Like, yes, please. Like, doesn't give a shit about pleasing no men. Like, absolute gobshite. Yes, please. And then, yeah, because it was written when it was written, she gets, like, all tamed at the end. So I want, like, Act 1 Katerina. That's what I want.
Act 1 Katerina Meryl. I love it. The specificity is important.
We always say that you can take the person at their prime. So her prime is when she's like really hostile, quite violent, isn't she? Like at the beginning.
Yeah, she's like, proper. She would definitely like a little slap on the pitch. She would be the one being like, "Well, me." She's bleeding, but I didn't do it. Like,
brilliant. You want that. Yeah, I think the perfect defender. You want that hostility. Anyone, like, because it's like she's like batting off suitors, effectively, isn't she? So like she's batting away attackers.
I was going to say Van Gogh, but that's not. That's a painter. I think I'm thinking of Zidane. Is that a footballer?
Yes.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Is he the one who bit someone's ear off? Did he bite someone's ear off?
No, he headbutted.
Headbutted someone.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking of Van Gogh. I'm thinking of ears. But
There's the link.
I knew my brain was going at some pace. But yeah, I think she'd be like the proper... You wouldn't want to get too close to her on the pitch, but that's why she'd be so good at... Because everyone would be too scared to come near her.
I love it.
In case we were worried that we couldn't pick stage versions, there is actually I've just looked this up, there is a documentary film that follows the making of The Taming of the Shrew at the festival that they did from 1981 called Kiss Me, Petruchio. So there's a film of the making of the show, which is brilliant.
Loophole. Love a loophole.
Proper strong loophole stuff. Okay, three players down. Great picks so far.
Yeah.
Lauren, what's next?
The next one I've got is when she was Margaret Thatcher in The Iron Lady. Yeah. So I'm trying to think where best that would go on the pitch. But I feel like, would it be defence? Like, because I feel like she'd be the one who, if you came towards her with the ball, she'd just be like, she'd take out a knife and stab it. Like, well, we can't play anymore. What a shame. Like, that would be...
That it's surprising that professional footballers don't use that tactic more often, isn't it? Just breaking the ball and say, well, it's my ball, you can't play. Yeah.
You can't play no more. Yeah. Like, there's no half-time drinks for the other team because she's got rid of all the milk. Like, absolutely. She would be so, like, not as cold as Miranda in the sense that Miranda's just, like, eyes on the prize. She would just not give a... I don't think she even really cares about her team winning. She's just like, I'm just here to be difficult and have the glory.
Yeah, I guess she's more worried about, like, intentionally screwing over the other team.
Yeah.
She'd rather the other team did badly than her team did well.
Exactly, yeah. So she wouldn't be, like, scrappy and feisty like Katerina Meryl. I think she would just be very, like, nonchalant, just looking for underhand tactics, sort of swooping around the pitch.
Swooping. I don't think I've ever heard Maggie Thatcher being described as swooping anywhere.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem like much of a swoopy person, more of a sort of, I don't know, a little tank rolling through slowly.
Oh, see, I imagine her. Right, I've just watched Lord of the Rings, also to impress a boy. Same boy. I'm really going all out, guys. And you know the big... I don't know why I did that. The big, like, eagles, like Gandalf's eagles. I think should be like that, just, like, circling. Okay, so my... Iron Lady Meryl Streep can fly. That's that's a bonus caveat because we know if anyone's got secret wings, it's her. But she's like, no, she's got Miranda to design her wings that go under her costume. So every now and then, like she'll have the ball and someone will be coming towards her, and she's just like wings out and.
I love it. Handmade gliding wings designed by one player for Margaret Thatcher. This pitch is already getting pretty weird.
Isn't it?
And any other good reasons to have Margaret Thatcher on the football pitch, or is it just her underhanded meanness that you want her for?
I was going to say, I don't think she'd just be such a mean-spirited player that I think it would be beneficial in a way. Definitely.
Also, Tom Hanks' characters tend to be quite nice, lovable guys. So I don't think they're going to cope well with this cruelty. No,
and that's the thing. See, I think people would expect, like, the women to be all soft and meek, but a lot of Meryl Streep characters are pretty badass. Like, Margaret Thatcher, Miranda Priestley. Donna's nice, but that's why we put Donna in the goal, so she can just distract everybody with her singing and dancing while they're fucking shit up on the pitch. That's... Donna hasn't even realised that Margaret's an eagle. She's just chassé turning in the goal.
It's lucky in a way. Like, Meryl Streep plays a lot of older characters, which is lucky because we know that Maggie Thatcher wouldn't be able to play with younger players because she is known for screwing over the minors.
Yes. Very good.
Big groan from the crowd.
I've got more. Do you want more? I've got more.
No, we've got 4 excellent picks so far, Lauren. We've got one last one. We already know your bench has got a ghost and a load of Helen Mirrens, but we've got one more player on the pitch. Who's it going to be?
I think this one might actually be like not necessarily my star player, but my secret weapon, and that's Meryl in Kramer versus Kramer.
Ooh.
Which admittedly I've not seen in a long time, but obviously it's about a woman getting through a divorce and fighting for custody. That's who you want on the pitch, isn't it? Like, there's going to be nobody with more fire in her belly than a Meryl Streep going through a divorce and trying to get custody. Like, that is going to be, she's going to be fast. She's going to be looking for the tiniest mistake so she can pounce on it. She's going to be, like, resilient. More divorced women on football fields. Is what
What's her name? Is it Jo Kramer?
Joanne?
Yeah, something like that. Joanna.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. Do you know what? This is a professional enough podcast where I'll Google that. It's Joanna Kramer. It's Joanna Kramer.
That's good. Yeah. I watched that film recently because it's her who abandons the kid in the first place, and then she comes back and says, "Oh, sorry, I'll take the kids." And then it's like Dustin Hoffman. He's really like, "Oh no, I want it now." But then that's what she needs. She needs that incentive. So whatever she likes, if she really likes the ball that they're playing with, she needs to abandon it for a bit. But then she wants to come back. She's like, I really want that ball. She's going to really want that ball.
She's going to really want it. She's going to want the ball. She's going to want the stadium. She's going to want 50% of the ticket revenue.
Exactly, yeah.
And you said she pounces on mistakes, so that might make her quite a good striker. Any loose ball in the box, anything, she'll make the most out of any situation. Not a sort of star striker, like you said, but one that just scores goals anytime there's an opportunity. She's going to get in there.
I think she'd be very focused, very eyes on the prize. And she wouldn't be like doing all the tackling. Katarina's got that. Maggie's flying around the stadium. They're sorting all that out. But she would be very like, I would say strike while the iron's hot, but that sounds more like Maggie being the Iron Lady. Strike while the iron's flapping around like an eagle. As the popular
saying goes.
But yeah, I think she'd be the one who I noticed this when I was trying to be interested in football the other day. Now there's some players you don't see for bloody ages, and then they just pop up and do something brilliant, and you're like, where's this guy been? He was good. She would be like that. She would just pop up when you least expect it and do something brilliant because she's been watching, she's been observing.
It's another good quality to have in a striker. Like, you don't think that they're affecting the game, and then bang! Oh, what?
Yeah. I lost my kids.
I lost my kids. Middle of the game. Oh my god.
I mean, maybe because of this, because she leaves and kind of comes back, maybe it's better to have her starting on the bench, and then she's more deadly coming on. Because she's been sitting there stewing over it, She's on the bench stewing over the fact that she needs more money from her husband, her ex-husband, and wants that kid back. So she's stewing and legs it on, super sub.
Absolutely.
I mean,
that does mean that you would then have to start with a ghost. So,
unless you've got any other Meryls that you're interested in talking about.
I had one more Meryl that I wanted on the bench, and that's I probably should have mentioned this one sooner. Sophie's Choice Meryl. But the reason you can't have her on the pitch for the whole game is she wouldn't be able to make any bloody decisions. So that's why we can't. Every time she'd be like, oh, do I score the goal and get the glory? But it's going to mean tackling this player and they're going to hurt themselves. Oh, this is Sophie's Choice. And all the other Meryls would be like, not everything is Sophie's Choice. Stop it. No. So we can't have her. She is the me when I was on the girls' football team. She's just got to sit on the bench until she learns to make some decisions.
So we're not going to start with Sophie. You're going to stick with your original decision and keep Joanna Kramer starting up front. And Sophie's choice.
I think maybe we do put Kramer on the bench and start with Ghost Meryl, just to get in Tom Hanks's head, because he's going to be like. Yeah. Is that a ghost and why is there an eagle? So they're going to be disorientated right from the start.
It's good. He doesn't do a lot of horror or fantasy, so he'd be really confused.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I'd say within 90 seconds, we sub Ghost Meryl for Kramer, because that's enough time for a woman to get angry. 90 seconds. We can go from 0 to 100 that quickly. But then it's also quick enough that all the Tom Hankses will be like, wait, where did Ghost Meryl go? Like, I'm sure there was a ghost on the pitch, and then they'll be doubting themselves. They'll be on the back foot. They'll be weak, and they're going to get pecked by Maggie Thatcher.
I've got to be honest, this is one of the most startling tactical decisions we've had on Fantasy 5. This 90-second sub, that's got to be some sort of record.
Yeah, because by the time you've sort of tried to think, like, is that a ghost? Why is she doing a pirouette? Is she singing ABBA? And then before you know it, Joanna Kramer's on the pitch, and you'd be like, what has happened? Where has she gone? Did I imagine it? Am I losing my mind? And then you're 4 goals down already by the time this has happened.
Yeah, I think it's good as well that the ghost will be playing the first 90 seconds up front, far away from Donna, who's in goal, and seeing her future. But she's going to die soon at some point. Yeah. She can't see that because she's just busy dancing in the goal, far away from the ghost.
Exactly.
Well, I've got to be honest, this team has been a delightful journey. We've got Eagle Maggie Thatcher flying about. We've got ghost subs. So, Lauren, could you just remind us then of the starting lineup of your Fantasy 5?
Okay, so by the way as well, about 5 minutes before I started to record this, I was like, I hope I've got the right idea of what this podcast is.
You've nailed it.
I was like, I hope I have not misunderstood. Right, so my starting lineup is in goal. We have Meryl as Donna from Mamma Mia 1. And then Captain Boss Meryl is Miranda Priestley from Devil Wears Prada. Yeah. And then we've got our striker is Taming of the Shrew, Katarina Meryl. We've got our defender / sky position. General overhead observer is Iron Lady Margaret Thatcher / Eagle Meryl. And then and then to start with, for the first 90 seconds only, we have Ghost Donna from Mamma Mia 2. Yeah. Just for 90 seconds.
That's a hell of a Fantasy 5. We are going to take a short break, and we will be back with Matt's Tom Hanks team.
A podcast from producerpaul.co.uk.
Welcome back. It is time for Matthew Grant's Tom Hanks team. There was a lot going on there in that Streep team. Matt, what you got?
I mean, first of all, a big fan of Lauren explaining football and indeed Shakespeare to me, because finally I understand these things way better. It makes sense. I knew there was a flying position. Just knew it. Tom Hanks. What can I say? I'm going to start with a defensive position. I'm going to go for Chuck from Castaway. So that's the desert island movie where he's a guy on a desert island.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, obviously Chuck is just another word for throw. And say it with me. Throw-ons are how you win games. Oh, you didn't join me. You didn't join in.
Tell you who will join in. Donna in goal. She loves the song.
There it is, right? Yeah, so, Chuck, he can chuck the ball in when it goes off, which is a helpful position. It's a strong position. It's necessary.
So he's a long throw specialist.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Long throw specialist.
Yeah. Also, I hate to make this the recurring thing, but I love that when you said everyone joining with me, you said throw-ons as opposed to throw-ins. But carry on. You keep going.
Damn. Baby steps, guys. Baby steps. Okay, so that's his strongest feature. The rest is obviously just filler. No, he has his bum out most of the film, which is distracting potentially to the opposite team. A bit of youthful sort of 2000 era Hanks bum. It could be distracting. It could work as a benefit to us. Now, the biggest thing, actually, as well as his throwing skills, Chuck on a desert island, he is definitely going to be the guy, more than anyone, who wants to win a match. Because then once you've won a match, you can start a fire, which is how you survive on a desert island. So this guy is going to try and win as many matches as he can. Come on. It's a survival movie. Of course he needs matches. So that's his incentive. I bet it's stronger than anyone else's. And that's his guiding force.
The desire for fire.
Yeah. Matches.
Yeah.
No, he also, of course, his best friend on the island is a volleyball, like a beach ball called Wilson, which he gets very attached to. He spends, I think it's 4 or 5 years on the island talking to this ball. So by the time he's now playing for us on this football team, he understands the mind of a ball. He understands, what's going to happen. He just knows it. He knows a ball pretty better than anyone. He's spent lonely nights in a cave on an island with a ball. So basically, when it comes to it, Wilson can give some insight on what the actual ball is going to be doing in the match. He can also be a decoy because we allow accessories on these football teams.
Of course.
So naturally, Chuck's accessory is going to be Wilson the beach ball. It's going to play a decoy. The other team will be like, "Oh no, which ball is it?" It's a fact of life. One ball always gets neglected. So statistically, they're going to be a bit confused and not know which one they're going for.
I love it. So outside of long throw specialist, do you have a position for him in the team, or is he just going to be throw-ins only?
Yeah, I went for defender. I figure if he can throw it really long, then that means he can do it from a defensive position near his goal. If he was a short throw specialist, you'd have to have him on the other side, on the opposite team's side, because you can only throw it, because he has to throw it into the goal, otherwise there's no point in throwing it. So
the tactic is to throw it into the goal.
Chuck. His name is Chuck.
Yep. Yeah.
As acting referee for the game, I do have to tell you that you're not allowed to throw the ball directly into the goal.
Oh, Jesus.
It has to take another touch. That's okay. He can, if he's good at it, if he can still throw it to someone and very far.
Is it because throwing it in is really easy?
I don't
Or is
know
it just
why.
because it's more inclusive? Come on, let everyone have a go. You can't just...
I guess they're like, well, it is football. Like, it should. Well, I suppose you can head it in. I don't see why you can't throw it in. Yeah.
Can a goalie at one end lob it if a goalie's name was Lob?
Yes.
Can he lob it into the other goal?
Yes.
Although that would be a hell of a throw to throw from one goal to the other.
If he had a fun Russian name like Hell of a Lob. And, that's his specialty. I'm going to wait for Tom Hanks to play Hell of a Lob.
But sadly, at the moment, it's just Chuck.
Just now, it's just Chuck and the ball, which sounds like a terrible cop film. So he's in defence. Next up, I'm going to go for a position which I have never had in all the 13, 14 episodes of this. I've never had a midfielder. Because I didn't really understand it up until last time, where I was told it's the person that goes in the middle of the field. So now I get it. So I'm going to go for Forrest Gump, who is the character he plays in the film Forrest Gump. Now, I'm trying to think. So a midfielder, from my understanding, needs to do a little bit of attacking, a little bit of defending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jack of all trades, all-rounder. So I have tactics for both of these skills. So if we're trying to get him to defend, he needs an incentive. So his accessory is Jenny naked on a stool playing Bob Dylan on a guitar. Okay. Now we put this accessory in the goal, in our goal, and he is going to want to defend that thing. In the movie, he's always defending Jenny and like punching people. He's a proper slugger, He'll take out anyone who gets nearer. So if you pop a sort of, just on a little stool playing a guitar, then he's going to defend that thing. So that's going to appeal to his defensive instincts.
Sure.
And then for his attacking instincts, we need to, it's quite simple. You need to kind of get the ball in front of him, as long as he's in a good sort of straight line toward the goal. As long as the ball's in front of his feet, and then you all yell, "Run, Forrest, run," and he'll just go for it.
Yeah.
He'll just sort of beeline straight for that goal. So that's obviously his attacking strength. Obviously, you'll know Forrest Gump runs, so you've got to use the running skill at some point, haven't you?
Got to use that running. I mean, he's a bit of a polymath, isn't he? He's got a lot of skills, Forrest. He's multi-talented.
He does pick up sports very quickly. But ping pong and running and American football and drinking Dr. Pepper. He picks up all of those things.
I mean, unbelievable stamina as well. He's going to be running all day, like all match.
Yeah,
non-stop.
I think he ran for 4 years.
It's going to be very difficult to combat that for the other team. Just him running around everywhere.
Yeah, and exceptional stamina. Also, there's little secrets. So he himself says that Mama says they were my magic shoes. They could take me anywhere. So as long as he's wearing his magic shoes, he can be taken anywhere. Obviously, we want to take him straight to the baddie's goal. So we're going to use his magic shoes for that power. you can't tackle wind. Everyone knows this. Try and tackle wind. You can't. It's wind. And Forrest says, now you wouldn't believe it if I told you, but I could run like the wind blows. So I think what he's saying is he is wind. You can't tackle it.
Very difficult. You're right.
Yeah.
Matt, was this pick mainly an excuse to do this impression that you've clearly been working quite hard on?
I love you. Do you know my favourite line in Forrest Gump? It's the one no one ever quotes, is sometimes there just aren't enough rocks. It's a good one. It's a good one, but weirdly never on a T-shirt.
He's good in all weather as well. Like,
yes.
With all types of rain.
Big old fat rain, sideways rain. Rain that just come up from that unbelief. Yeah, all the types of rain.
I only said that because I really like your impression of it.
He's really good with... You know, if you're doing a big match and he has to meet the Queen afterwards, or some world leaders, he just doesn't bat an eyelid when he's meeting US presidents, which he does frequently. So he's very good at that. He's always has chocolates with him, which is just good energy, good. What's that word that's like potatoes and stuff? Carb loading. When you're carb loading, athletes do that.
Yeah, but chocolate's not carb.
Potato chocolates. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Good pick. Forrest Gump in the middle of the park. I'm so proud of you for picking a midfielder for the first time.
You'll be very proud of my second position after that, which is another midfielder.
Hey.
I got very excited about clearly understanding what a midfielder does, which is a person who attacks and defends. So I've gone for Turner from Turner and Hooch. Now, this is the cop movie where Tom Hanks plays a cop who has to look after a big slobbery dog who's a witness to a murder. Okay, the dog's owner gets murdered, and he's the cop who has to try and track down the murderer of this dog's old owner. So, first of all, Turner spends half the I watched it recently. Turner spends half the movie in his underwear. He's, for some reason, every time he's dealing with the dog in his house, he's just in his pants. Wrestling the dog, bathing the dog, feeding the dog. He stores in his pants. So once again, I can distract the baddies with a sort of an early 90s, 80s Tom Hanks bum.
You're putting a lot of stock in the idea that Tom Hanks' bum is going to be distracting.
But then we do have Donna and her 3 partners. So if anyone's going to be distracted by a bum, it's Meryl Donna.
There you go.
Lauren, I mean, it's very noble of you there pointing out your own problem, but Donna could well be distracted by all this Hanks butt.
I appreciate it, Lauren. Yes, thank you. Yeah,
God's sake, Donna.
Exactly. Now, obviously, I love an accessory. His accessory is Hooch, the dog, which is, of course, the main draw for picking Turner and Hooch. Otherwise, you're just picking a sort of a nice, mild-mannered Tom Hanks character. He's got a great big dog. The species I looked up is a doggy de Bordeaux, which does sound like a wine, but is a type of dog. Now, he eats up the competition just like he eats up the interior of a police car in an apartment. However, I do have tactics with the dog. You just can't have a dog running amok. The dog will just chase after the ball, rip it to pieces. It'll be a total mess. So, with the attacking and the defensive things, what we do is we blame the murder of Hooch's owner on the opposition. Therefore, the dog will do nothing but hunt down the opposition. They will be on the attack, very aggressively, thinking, "Oh, woof, 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 you murdered my owner." See, in fact, Lauren, if you want to bring your dog back to check that that's how a dog thinks, maybe
that isn't acceptable.
Even when a dog thinks, it says "woof, woof, woof" in its mind.
Yeah. And then proceeds to think in English. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it works. So, yeah, his attacking strategy is we tell him that everyone on the opposite team murdered his owner. And then, of course, the defensive strategy is we get the dead body of his owner, who was like the sort of old guy who lived out by the boats, and we just chuck that thing into our own goal next to naked Janie on a stool. And Hooch will guard that body loyally. He will defend that body. He won't let anyone near him. In the movie, they try the pound guys come in and try and capture him, and he won't let it happen. He pushes them hilariously off the pontoon into the water, and we all laughed. But yeah, so he'll defend the dead body, and he will avenge it as well.
Ooh.
That's strong tactical stuff here, Sam.
Yeah,
the goal is looking very busy.
There's a lot of stuff in it.
There's no goalkeeper, but there's still 4 people on the goal line. One of them is dead, to be fair, and one of them is also a dog. But
I really want the goal line to go like along and then do the outline of the body.
That's very good.
That is clapping's not good for a podcast, but I couldn't help myself. That's very funny. That's very good.
Yeah, they have an abundance of white paint, so not a problem at all. Now, I guess moving on again. I have a captain. Now, Tom Hanks played a few captains. He was Captain Phillips. But then very quickly in Captain Phillips, he isn't the captain. Famously, someone else says, I am the captain. So he's not a captain anymore in that one, so I can't have him. So I'm going to go for Captain Miller, who's his character in Saving Private Ryan.
Sure.
So this is, World War II Steven Spielberg movie where he leads a group of dudes across World War II to try and find Matt Damon. Spoiler. And so the crucial reason for picking him, of course, apart from the fact that you save a lot of money on the shirt because you don't have to write Captain, he's already got it. That's his first name, Captain Miller. He doesn't mind mud. He was fighting the European campaign in World War II, and there's a lot of mud. On a football pitch, there's a lot of mud. He doesn't mind it. He's okay with it. In fact, he's also, of course, very used to being in charge of a small group of men on a field.
Yeah.
Typically a battlefield. Yeah. This is probably a step down from a battlefield. There's way less artillery. It's kind of it's a nice little Sunday for him. You know what I mean?
I mean, what position are you thinking of Captain Miller being in? Is he your striker or your goalkeeper?
I see. Yeah, a captain has to have a position as well. He's an attacker. I'm going to have him as an attacker. Because I might be overusing the midfield thing.
Well, it makes sense. He's winding his way through opposition defences, isn't he?
Yes,
that's what he's doing.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, he has to get through defences with explosives and stuff. Now, obviously, I love an accessory, so his accessory is going to be a medic, a sniper, an explosives expert, 2 infantry soldiers, and Vin Diesel. So that's going to be his accessory, if that's allowed.
I mean, it is, of course, up to today's referee, which is Sam, if he has allowed what sounds like a full squad of soldiers.
Well, I'll cast your memories back to the Game of Thrones episode where I thought I legitimately had Daenerys Targaryen with her 3 dragons, but I was only allowed 1. So this isn't even the same types of people. This is lots of different types. I think you can only have 1, potentially.
I suspected that having an entire squad of people, more so than the actual number on a Fantasy 5 team, might be an issue. So I did have a secondary plan, which is that his accessory is going to be sticky bombs. Sticky bombs. But essentially, it's very simple. They're made up of dynamite and socks and engine grease. And in the movie, he uses them to blow up tanks and stuff. So my understanding is he can just fill up all of the socks of his team with explosives and just whang them around the pitch. Lots of explosions, big, scary bangs, very scary stuff. Okay. There's also, there's more messy bangs than a drunken night out in Newcastle. Am I right? And
roll on April the 12th.
So that's his strategy, is to be a good leader, be okay with mud, and set off a lot of explosives.
I was worried initially that it might be problematic with Maggie Thatcher flying around everywhere, but now that you have a throwable explosive, you've dealt with it.
It's on. Yeah,
and we know he'll go to great lengths to get the job done. You know, he will put up with hell and high water to save Private Ryan. So if his mission is score a goal, he's going to do everything in his power to do it.
Yes, even if the goal seems ridiculous. Even if the goal sends them up against the odds, he will complete that goal. That's my idea.
Was there any part of you that maybe thought that you should put Captain Miller in goal because his film is saving Private Ryan and goalkeepers have to save the ball? Anything there?
I struggle to think of a logical reason to have a goalie, and you have found it, sir. Arguably, I might do a little bit of a change-up of roles when I tell you who my goalie is, and the complete lack of reason why that person's the goalie. This really works out well, sir. Also, does that mean that his accessory, I could change it to one of those Normandy beach defences, those big metal things that stop landing craft. So I'd have a naked Jenny on a stool, a dead body, a Normandy beach defense.
This is the best episode of the Generation Game ever.
With a cuddly toy. I mean, aren't the beach defenses isn't that the Nazi thing? They put them there.
Yeah, but I think Americans won, so I think afterwards they
just claimed it. Yeah. Spoiler for World War II there.
Yeah, I reckon that after you've beat people, you're allowed to take their beach defenses. So who I did have in goal, but this now might change, is Robert Langdon, who is his character in the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons and Inferno. He's the sort of super smart brainy boy who runs around following clues to stop the Illuminati, I think. Sam, you've actually read the books, haven't you?
I have a worrying problem with Dan Brown. I've read them all at least twice. Love him.
Yeah. Was that an accurate description of his character and what he does?
Yeah, pretty much. He's very, very smart man. Very good. I mean, he famously unlocks things.
Does he?
So I assume he can unlock defenses with, I don't know, long throws or with tactics, with just knowledge. He's just a very smart, mindful player.
Well, exactly. So my understanding, he's a very smart sort of chap, always finding clues. So he can find hidden clues that lead him to discovering the secrets of the baddie's weakness. Okay, I'll give you an example. A player is on the attack. Langdon notices the studs on their boots are in the shape of a storagram, an ancient Christian symbol, but angled and a longitudinal line towards the Louvre in Paris. Langdon hops on a plane and makes his way to the Louvre, where he finds a half-eaten croissant pointing toward a statue of Tom Hanks's butt. But he is briefly distracted him. But then it leads him on to a magnificent crack, like the butt, in the Mariana Trench, where lies a sunken wreck of an Illuminati pedalo. The pedalo. Pedal-O. O is the 15th letter of the alphabet. 2 football players would have 4 legs. 15 minus 4 is 11. The 11th letter in the alphabet is K, which is the first letter in the word kick, which is what the attacking player is therefore going to do. So now all Langdon has to do is go all the way back to the pitch and stop him from kicking. Langdon.
There was a lot of work in that, Matt, and I'm very appreciative. Having said all of that, do you now want to make him your striker?
Yeah, that'd be better. Yeah, make him the striker. I did struggle trying to find out exactly what he did, what his job was. It's like you're a professional sleuther. It's a symbologist, which it sounds like a person who obviously understands symbols. And so I got excited because I thought that's brilliant. If he understands symbols, he probably has cymbals and therefore has the rest of a drum kit, and so he can block up the goal with his drum kit and cymbals. It's just this. I'm just crashing this goal filled with stuff right now, but apparently that's not what symbologist is.
I like the idea that he might have designed the emblem for the team. There might be some like hidden symbols within the team crest.
Exactly. They could they have a different crest each week, which has a different attack plan, battle plan.
Oh, nice.
Which only they understand because he's into symbols.
He's very hardy as well, Langdon. I believe at one point he survives a parachute failure. He's thrown out of a plane but survives. I think that happens at one point.
Yeah.
In one of the books.
He spends a lot of time in a suit and office shoes, but running through cobbled streets of European cities trying to solve mysteries. So I guess he's quite good stamina as well, probably.
Yeah. Running on cobbles is, that takes some fancy footwork, in my opinion. I struggle to walk on cobbles if it's damp.
Right.
Very well travelled as well. Like some players, they're better at home than they are away. He plays well all over the place. He's in Florence, and then he's in like Vienna. He's all over the shop.
Yes. Well, very good. Yeah, I'll have him as an attacker, and then the Saving Private Ryan dude as a goalie. So that's my 5. Obviously, there's many great Hanks characters that I considered. I'm thinking at some point I might do a substitution, and that I'm going to go for Jim Lovell, which is his character in Apollo 13. He's pretty good when the situation goes bad and you need to really find your way out of an impossible situation. So I'm going to use him for that moment. And also his accessory will be a Saturn V rocket, which he can, of course, transport the ball in at speed of 15,500 miles per hour. So he's going to be a late goal kind of a guy.
Yeah, but it's definitely going to miss its target, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's true. Yes, it never achieved what it meant to do, but it did it very quickly. Okay, I'm going to have a coach. I need someone who actually understands the game. Unfortunately, I can't find any films where Hanks played a football coach, but he does play Jimmy Dugan in A League of Their Own, where he coaches a group of lovable misfit baseball players. So I figure that's pretty good. That's a sport with a ball in it.
Great.
I'll tell you what Hanks you do not want. And Lauren, you'll probably find this is the Streep character that you don't want either. You don't want their characters in the post, because that is the one thing you do not want to hit when you're trying to score a point. If Hanks and Streep had been in a film called The Net, like the Sandra Bullock film, then we could talk about it. But we do not want them in the post.
Is that the only time that Hanks and Streep appear together? Is in the post? Surely they've been together other than that. They feel like they must have been, because they're Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks.
Right. I think it was only in the post. I don't know if you, Lauren, if you came across Hanks on your journey.
No.
We can Google it. We can Google it.
Yeah, I'm giving it a quick check.
You're doing a quick check. But yes, those are my characters. Obviously, that you could have Woody the cowboy. He's a famous Hanks character, but he instantly freezes and drops to the floor whenever he sees humans. So that would not be a long-lived character.
Nightmare.
Yeah, it'd be rubbish. So that is my Fantasy 5. I'll remind you of who I have in defence. I have Chuck from Castaway. On the midfield, I have Forrest Gump and Turner and Hooch. Then now in goal, I have the captain from Saving Private Ryan, and now as the attacker is Robert Super Clue Master from the Da Vinci Code.
Robert Super Clue Master. Yeah, good team, Matt. Very impressed. Just so you both know, the post, but also the 2006 animated classic, The Ant Bully, stars both Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got 2 exciting teams. Now, let's check in with our managers and see how they feel about the upcoming match. Lauren, you've just heard Matt's team there. Now you know what you're up against. How do you feel about your chances? Are you confident? You still confident?
I think it's a strong team, but I'm still very confident. We've got too many strong-minded, sneaky women, which is the key to success.
Sneakiness is going to be your ace in the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Said in a very sneaky way.
Like you're keeping something from me that I should know. Matt. You'd already heard Team Meryl, but now both squads are lined up against each other. What do you think?
I think it'll be a good match. I think, yes, ultimately, Meryl does play a few sneakier, more edgier characters. Hanks will happily sort of congratulate them and open the door for them and check everyone's okay and their glasses of water are filled. So I don't know if that tactic's really going to pay off as an aggressive attack. We'll see what happens.
Well, we will soon find out. We've done the teams. We've done the pre-match interviews. It's time for kickoff.
Welcome to the stadium here on the little bit of grass out the back of Hotel Villa Donna on the fictional Greek island of Kalakairi, as Team Meryl Streep host Team Tom Hanks in what will surely be an Oscar-worthy contest of footballing prowess.
Players just coming down the red carpet onto the pitch, and they look ready to act.
And there's the kickoff as the ghost of Donna Sheridan from Mamma Mia 2 swirls around in the middle of a park, sending various Hankses running in fear.
Hooch leaps into Turner's arms in terror.
Oh, it's like a real-life Scooby-Doo moment.
Robert Langdon sets about trying to disprove the existence of ghosts with an elaborate trip to Istanbul.
Miranda Priestley takes advantage of the chaos and slides a perfectly presented pass up to Katerina the Shrew, who shrewdly slots it past Captain Miller into the Hanks goal.
Seconds down and it's 1-0 already. Is this going to be a whitewash, Sam?
Far too much attacking freedom for Team Streep being allowed here.
Yes, because defender Chuck from Castaway is so excited at seeing real-life people, he keeps breaking down and crying.
There's an early stoppage here, and it appears as though the ghost of Donna is being hooked off already.
Embarrassment for the player or intentional mind games from the manager?
Goalie Donna seems delighted not to see the death that became her up top, and a seemingly riled-up Joanna Kramer fills the attacking position.
And she looks hell-bent on taking everything the opposition has.
Somebody just asking Chuck which famous Rachel starred in hit show The O.C.
Wilson!
Forrest Gump has the ball, and he is running with some determination. He tries a bit of fancy footwork to spin round Maggie Thatcher, but she's not fooled.
This lady is not for turning.
Chuck just being asked by his boy what form paracetamol usually takes.
A Pilsen!
Priestley now running away down the runway.
1,000,000 girls would kill for her job, Sam.
They would, and she's taking on Gump, is ruthless with her cruel taunting on the ball, dealing out emotional and psychological abuse.
But Gump is completely oblivious to it and bats away the ball with a ping-pong paddle.
A farmer's market mathematician has just asked Chuck what you would call it if you add a certain amount of dill to another amount of dill.
A dill sum!
Turner and Hooch charging down the wing. Little passes back and forth between man and man's best friend.
It really feels like this should count as a sixth player.
And yet here we are. Hooch is slightly distracted as he recognises Margaret Thatcher as the bitch she is and roughly mounts the former Prime Minister.
That gives Turner some space to cross into the box.
As Robert Langdon returns from Istanbul into the area, clutching an ornate copper lockbox that will set up the sequel, he leaps up for the header. But Donna twirls gracefully to catch it with a choreographed clap.
She really is a dancing queen. And it's half-time, as Mama Donna is providing the half-time entertainment with yet more ABBA.
Nice to see man-child Josh from the movie Big adding to the music by playing with his feet on a giant toy store piano.
It appears for the time being that Forrest Gump has given up his life as a professional footballer and is now the pitch's groundskeeper.
I love doing it so much, I cut that grass for free.
That means that Apollo 13's Jim Lovell will be subbing on.
There he is now, beginning the rigorous years of training and millions of dollars of taxpayer money to ready himself for the second half. Chuck offering to start the second half with a throw on, but the ref's not having any of it.
Yep, the referee blowing his whistle now for the second half, and Hooch has instantly attacked and eaten said whistle.
Miranda streeping down the pitch with the ball, but is distracted by Turner and Chuck streaking up the pitch.
Those guys are not leaving much to the imagination in the pants department.
If there's a protrusion, we'll have a problem.
Miranda loses possession here to Jim Lovell, who launches it to Hooch, who buries it in the back of the net. Literally.
That's 1-1. What incredible performances from both teams. Free kick for Team Streep in a dangerous position. Oh no, that is a tame ball in from Katerina.
But Maggie Thatcher swoops down from the skies to knock the ball past Captain Miller.
And Jenny.
And Hooch's dead owner.
And the Normandy Beach defences.
Pinpoint accuracy from Thatcher.
She really knows how to cause maximum harm to an array of people simultaneously. 2-1.
The ramifications of her actions will live long in the memory.
You can see Castaway Chuck looking very disappointed that his volleyball accessory isn't fooling anyone into thinking that it's the match ball.
Maybe it's because the match ball doesn't have a face drawn in blood on it, but who's to say?
Not long to go now in this contest, and it seems that Joanna Kramer has drawn the referee into a lengthy and expensive court battle to determine if she should be awarded a goal in reparations for the way that she has been treated throughout the game.
The referee can't handle the persistent power of her prosecution, and he crumbles. He's blown the whistle. He's given Kramer a goal, $30,000 and full custody over his children.
Unbelievable scenes. It's 3-1.
And after being nominated for 21 Oscars and only winning 3, it's nice to see Meryl Streep taking the victory here, as it will do wonders for her otherwise, frankly, embarrassing win-loss ratio. And there's the final whistle.
The Hanks team leave with a smile on their faces, congratulating the opposition and making sure everyone gets home safe.
It's true what they say. Nice guys finish last.
Back to you in the studio.
Well, there we have it. A storming victory for Team Meryl Streep. Lauren, how does it feel to be victorious?
It feels good, but I knew I was going to win all along. It's Meryl Streep. I was very confident. Obviously, we had Joanna Kramer pulling through with them goals.
The secret weapon that no one knew we needed.
Exactly.
Matt, commiserations.
Yeah, I think I relied too heavily on Tom Hanks' butt stuff. It never really kind of panned out,
did it?
I got to think more forward.
Well, congratulations, Lauren, and thank you so much for joining us. If people have enjoyed Lauren, please check her out on social media. What's your handles? Where can people find you, Lauren?
You can find me on Twitter at Lauren Pattison, Instagram at Lauren_Pattison, and my dog is on Instagram at Wreck-It Ralph the dog.
Of course, your dog's on Instagram. There's no leaderboard to update today because Lauren and Matt was just a special guest match. No points on the board, and Matt, frankly, that's good for you because you're still languishing at the bottom of the table over in the main season.
Not strong.
Let us know what you thought about today's teams, all the results on social media. We are at Noise Next Door on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's just the one handle, Lauren. You could learn something there. We'd love to hear from you. Big thank you to our producer, Paul, for making us sound great. For Lauren Pattison for joining us today. Please follow us, give us a review, tell your friends about it. Sam, what have we got next week?
It's Big Beans. It's the one we've all been waiting for. It's Dr. Zeus versus Roald Dahl.
Things are going to get childish. We will see you then. It's time for us to hit the showers.
Do you mind if I shower in here?
Okay.
What shower settings does it have?
The shower has every kind of setting there is. Little bit of stinging shower, a big old fat shower, shower that flew in sideways, and sometimes the shower even seems to come straight up from underneath. Oh God! Oh!
What's wrong?
You're not wearing any clothes. I think I'll run away now.